We're all afraid of the dark inside ourselves.
Alrighty, students, take a seat, rip open those Trapper Keepers, and welcome to the Horrible Film School. I am Chris, here with my good man Ryan Hootie.
What's going on, folks? Excited to be here. As always, check us out on Instagram, Horrible Film School, and our website, horriblefilmschool.com. Recently threw up a merch store. Check it out.
Get that merch, baby, just in time for the spooky season.
Yeah, go buy our coffee mugs.
Hell yeah, man. Put some peanut butter cups in there. I don't know. People do shit like that.
Drink your pumpkin spice latte, your PCLs, apparently is what they call these days.
PSL, son. Get it right.
There you
It's
go.
Starbies, too. That's what we call it in the community, but I digress. Also, keep your eye open on our YouTube channel. We may have some surprise content popping up there pretty soon. We'll speak more to that when we get there.
We have a YouTube channel, but what's the name of the YouTube channel?
You take a wild guess, buddy. I can tell you there is a link to the YouTube channel on the website, horriblefilmschool.com. But if you choose to go to YouTube and find us, it's Horrible Film School.
That's a pretty good segue.
Yes, sir. And as always, Mr. Nasty here with us again today, my big bro, Joey.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Halloween and a happy Samhain to everybody.
Samhain.
We'll soon learn that's not how it's pronounced, but hey, fucking Donald Pleasance is like, wasn't he knighted or something?
I'm pretty sure he was a Sir Donald. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Today's assignment, 1981's Halloween 2. Today's lesson, hop on 23andMe and find that long-lost brother out there. What could possibly go wrong?
Hey, if Halloween 2 is any indication, quite a bit.
Oh, man, he's leading off. Coming in hot.
All right, I've inherited the hosting duties for this week, so you guys know to expect a lot of talking. Should be an hour and a half episode, so
Move along with the story.
Get comfortable, and let's hop in with a few fan reviews, shall we? All right, this week, as pretty much every time I host, both fan reviews come by way of IMDb. First, let's start with a little bit of positivity. We got a 9-star review titled, "I Don't Think Michael Myers Is Done Yet," by Brian Lyon.
Hopefully this was written in 1982.
9 stars.
October 2002. Quite a while ago.
He didn't think he was fucking done yet.
He's not quite done yet. This is the sister movie of the original, and it is great for many reasons. It is not Halloween season officially until my family and I bundle up on the couch, turn the lights down low, and watch this movie.
Specifically Halloween 2.
Specifically Halloween 2. You don't even go with Halloween 1.
Is this Jeffrey Dahmer who wrote
Everybody knows how Halloween 1 goes. It's Halloween 2 that really gets the juices, the collective Halloween juices.
That's when you start seeing trick-or-treaters in the fucking streets.
The acting is bad, but the soundtrack music is the best and reappears throughout the movie. Some of the eerie background music seeps into a scene like a creepy crawler and adds to the tension of the movie. There is something compelling about watching one of the all-time great villains slowly stalking his victims. Before there was Jason, or Freddy Krueger, or Chucky, there was the original slasher, Michael Myers. Yes, Jamie Lee Curtis looks a little less naive and childlike, and part 2 has more sex scenes. But it's like watching a car wreck. You just can't turn away. What It's a Wonderful Life is to the Christmas season, Halloween 1 and 2 are to the Halloween season. You don't turn the lights down too low.
Fuck yes. I wish I was that enthusiastic about this.
Guy has some strange connection to the holidays, man.
Hey, he's very honest about his opinions of Halloween 2.
Every October I sit on Dad's fucking lap, we fire up Halloween 2 on Blu-ray.
When he says more sex scenes, there's just one sex scene, correct? Did I miss something in this film?
I don't think there's any penetration, is there?
So it's not even a sex scene.
I think there's a sex scene in Halloween 1, isn't there?
Yeah. Post-coital, at least, we get the
Is there
Maybe he was
titties
writing
in
a review for Halloween 1 and put it in Halloween 2.
I'm glad he loves it. Or she.
19 years later, October 2021, Keen Eye 129 gives us their rebuttal with his or her 3-star review titled, Sam Hain? This movie barely featured a character that felt in any way written. The killing of a 17-year-old in a ridiculous car crash and explosion barely seems to matter. Most people seem unaffected by a psycho killer on the loose, and the deaths are ridiculous. As an Irish person, I really lost interest when it came to the interpretation of Samhain as Sam Hain. Samhain is an Irish word to celebrate the end of the summer harvest and the beginning of winter. The Celtic festival is the true origin of Halloween. Donald Pleasance says it means the devil. It doesn't. A word misappropriated by British Wiccan culture who can't even pronounce the word. 3 stars.
Fuck yeah, man. Like a little history lesson in there, too.
This is misappropriation in 1981. How about that?
I was going to try to read that whole thing with an Irish accent, but I feel like it would have been seen
Offensive?
as racist or offensive, because my Irish accent just like quickly devolves into like a Spanish accent.
Just red
You gotta
balloons and
Do
shooting
like
stars.
do Conor McGregor. Do it as Conor.
A word misappropriated by Brickin' Wiccan culture who can't even pronounce the word. All right, next we're going to hop into our director / additional cast member / writer / all that good stuff. This week, or this episode for me, not sure about you guys, it's kind of thin. Seeing as how we talked about, a couple of these guys and gals for our first episode of Halloween 1. Screenplay written by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill.
Came
as
back.
was Halloween 1. Directed by a guy named Rick Rosenthal, who went on to also direct Halloween Resurrection and a bunch of TV shit.
Trick or treat,
He also directed
motherfucker.
a film called Just Harmless Sex. It's right there in the title.
I think he's only directed like 3 films.
That a PG movie, or what is that?
I have no idea. I wish I had done research for that.
A little bit of private research here, honey. You mind shutting the door?
Really got to focus on my
Anything
notes.
you guys want to add about these 3 individuals? I mean, obviously John Carpenter's like the guy,
Yeah, from what I understand, which I didn't delve too deeply in the behind-the-scenes stuff here, that he was pretty reluctant to do this. It was kind of like, here's a script, leave me the fuck alone, I think is, from what I understand, how it went down.
I watched, as I always do, behind-the-scenes documentary of Halloween 2. Skimmed through it. But apparently he was trying to get The Fog made, and there was some kind of a situation where he had to write this film in order to get the rights to making The Fog. Kind of like what George Romero did with his Day of the Dead situation. But apparently John Carpenter wrote this script without really caring about what was happening and meant for this to be the end of Michael Myers.
I've heard some modern interviews, and he's not afraid to say that he created one movie and did not care about anything else that came thereafter. I think aside from this, the contributions he's made to any of them has been as producer, I guess, and then he did an original score for the newest trilogy, the one that's about to wrap up in 2022. So he's definitely a guy who is not as precious with his IP as most people seem to be, as far as directors.
Well, that's the thing. From what I've read, the Halloween series in his mind was an anthology series. He had told the story of Michael Myers in Haddonfield, and the next movie was going to be about, some other Halloween type shit.
Oh, it's
But
coming.
Happy Halloween,
when you make $70
Halloween,
million
Halloween.
as an indie film, it's you're going to make a sequel. It has to happen.
Yeah, I think it was just obligatory for his career trajectory, but I don't think it's anything he had any passion about because he never really circled back around.
Actually, a little bit more hands-on with this than we're leading on, because I think he went and he filmed some shit in post. Like, he personally added like almost all the gore. There's a scene a little bit later on where Michael goes somewhere without information of why he should go to this place, but it didn't make any sense in the script. So
there's a lot of weird.
It's a lot of weird things, and then it's like in post they actually made it make sense of why Michael goes where he does. We're going to get there eventually, but he actually did quite a bit in post apparently.
Also, shout out Deborah Hill. I don't know if we mentioned it last year, but she passed away relatively recently. So, definitely a big contributor to this character.
In like 2005.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
But either way, she created a genre, basically. So, I think sometimes she gets overlooked in that.
Yeah. I mean, she wrote like a bunch of that early shit with John Carpenter, like Escape from New York and all that. All right, moving on to interesting factoids. I got one that I'm going to spell out here for you guys, and then hopefully you have something to add. Otherwise, this is going to be pretty thin. So, this film actually uses the same mask as the original, albeit more worn, as the first Michael Myers actor, Nick Castle, kept the mask in his back pocket, and I guess his ass cheeks and ass sweat rubbing against it, kind of like
So much
sweat.
sweat.
You know what I mean? And it's shaped a little bit differently since the new Michael, played by Dick Warlock, which is like the coolest fucking name.
That's a badass fucking name.
He had a
dog.
head.
I'm naming him Dick Warlock.
There's no way that's his real name.
That's his name. He had a bigger head. He had a bigger head than Nick Castle, so the mask kind of fit him a little bit more snugly.
It looks fucking weird.
But yeah, once the movie was finished, Warlock was actually allowed to keep the mask, as well as a few other props involving his character. That's a big part of why the rest of the masks throughout the rest of the movies, like all the sequels and shit, they look bad.
They get rather white.
So this is the physically the same mask you're saying from the original?
Yeah, exact same mask.
God.
Apparently,
So much
Deborah Hill
sweat.
had kept it under her fucking like bed and shit for like months. After
Yeah,
they
it
finished,
it looked fucking bad. They never, I think we highlighted this in the first one, they never captured the mask again correctly.
Well, I mean, if it's the same
they're-
mask, you'd say they captured it correctly here. It's just been worn out.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's literally
here it's
been
fine.
like an hour since the last time we saw Michael.
Yeah, I
and
mean-
it's got 5 years of damage on it.
Well, he got
Here-
shot.
He fell down pretty hard on his back.
all that could have turned out just fine, because I'm not going to try to step on your toes. I actually have a little bit more that I wasn't going to talk about, but the original idea for the sequel was going to take place like 3 or 4 years after the events of Halloween 1. So if that was the case and they still had that original mask, it would have kind of worked. However, I mean, as you said, Chris, continuity issues definitely come from this.
I remember as a kid watching the first Halloween a lot, and at the end of it, I always had a feeling that he was leaving or something, like the story would not pick up immediately afterwards in my mind. Just as a kid, you fill in the blanks and shit like that. I assumed it's like he's going to come back next year. He comes back every year. He's the boogeyman. And all that kind of gets pooped on here.
Real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really would have liked to have seen John Carpenter and Deborah Hill's like original vision come to life. Definitely feel like it's a missed opportunity not having any sort of time jump, but we'll get there.
And that's probably the shittiest tagline we've heard so far. More of the night he came home.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what it was called.
That's how they called it out in the trailer. I'm like,
Well, I mean,
it's just
I
not
guess
a good way to sell a movie.
I guess it really was more because it just kind of picked up right where you left it.
We just kept fucking recording, and we didn't release it for 3 years.
The only two notes that I had were that Dick Warlock, and all of his badass name that he may carry, was the shortest Michael Myers ever. And
guess how tall he was, Chris?
He looked taller than most people out there. I'm going to say 5'10".
He was 5'9".
He's 5'9"?
I was hoping you were going to say like 6'3" or some bullshit.
Nah. He looked taller than
Well,
most
no,
people.
he was on
use lifts.
Yeah, they use like lifts on him, so he looked taller. I don't know why you said 5'10", because it makes me think you actually looked it up. Now Nick Castle was 5'10". They just go up from there. So
Oh, they go
6
real
foot,
far
7 foot.
all the way up.
This and the other thing I had was this is the only Halloween film to show the morning after the 31st. Every other movie ends on Halloween night.
So you're talking about like the break of dawn the next day.
Yes. At some point there was the morning in this day of the night.
It was a long ass night. I know that.
It was a little bit of a silly long night, yeah.
What about H2O?
Yeah, H2O ends in the dark.
Does it?
Yeah. With the ambulance crash and all that.
Y'all know a lot more about Michael Myers than I do, so I'll let y'all ride with this.
All right, with all that behind us, let's take a trip back to Haddonfield.
Stop! He's dead. No, he's not. Look at him. He's still breathing. Okay.
Halloween 2 begins just as its predecessor ends, with The Shape, played by Dick Warlock, now wounded from Loomis's revolver and a coat hanger to the eye, surviving his former doctor's onslaught and still lurking in the shadows of Haddonfield. Dick Warlock, stuntman mostly, worked on Casino, The Thing, as well as Christine, plus an assload of other stuff.
Was he a creature in the thing, I'm assuming? Guess he would have to be.
Fucked if I know.
Stuntman.
I just know he worked on a lot of shit.
Did he? You said stuntman. Did he do the flaming sequence that we catch later in the movie?
Ooh, I
would
would
hope so.
assume.
If he's a
That'd be
stuntman.
cool.
Yeah,
Dan gets more props as the actor under the mask there.
yeah. I didn't even think about that. I like that.
I really enjoyed the Mr. Sandman at the beginning of the film.
I will say, once at this point, have we talked about the score yet? Have we heard any of the OG score?
At the beginning of the movie?
Yeah.
No, it hasn't gotten any of those moments. To
I
where
thought the
it's
pumpkin, the zoom in on the pumpkin had
Oh
that
yeah,
going.
Opening credits. Were those the exact same opening credits of the first film?
It was a different, I mean, it's a different pumpkin, but it's the same setup. And the skull coming through is different. That wasn't in the original. But the little change to the score here is just not as good, man. There's like some synthesizer thrown in or something. It's a little different.
Like, it's different, but it's still in like the same vein as the first movie. I mean, it's still good in my opinion.
Yeah, but you're adding more to it and making it lesser. I don't know why you just didn't keep it, you know. I guess was what I was wondering.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. It's just the 80s. Everything had to be bigger and better. This is coming off of Friday the 13th and just what the 80s were.
It's actually a really good. That's actually a really good point, Udi, because the movie is definitely more than Halloween 1 in terms of like what's in it. That's a good point.
I think the score kind of immediately highlighted that for me, where it was commercialized a little more.
30 some episodes to make a good point, Udi. Good job.
I made it, guys. I really made it.
All right, the show's over. We're done. We have achieved our goal. But yeah, I mean, it's a perfect score. It's probably like, in my mind, it's a top 5 all time. Why change it at all?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, I think we've already talked about it. This isn't John Carpenter's baby. You know, this is John Carpenter kind of experimenting, I think, with his score. Plus, he didn't work on this by himself. He actually had somebody come in and work with him. I don't know the guy's fucking name, but I know it. Michael is able to elude capture and commandeers yet another kitchen knife, which he puts to use straight away, killing local hottie and domestic violence enthusiast Alice, all while sirens blare and the police search feverishly for the masked killer.
And his first kill was super odd. Just the way it's shot. He like jumps at her and like slashes up. And we like see his eyes. It was all just really fucking weird.
I think I know we've already went over it, but the scene where Loomis runs out of the house and the neighbor says, "I've been tricked or treated to death tonight," and Loomis just yells at him, "You don't know what death is," and runs away in the most awkward run I have ever seen.
It's like a great fucking ringtone. You don't know what death is. Mom's calling.
You imagine fucking some dude next door just yelling, "You don't know what death is," to you, trying to get fucking paper.
And you're sitting in your fucking underwear. I'm going back to bed. But yeah, this first kill reminds me of like almost like a Freddy Krueger kill, because he's like so mobile in the way he like jumps at her. It's super fucking not Michael Myers, you know.
He hops, surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But I think not to keep harping on the apparently one good point that I've made in the entire time of this podcast. But the 80s was all about kills. We saw the Friday the 13th trailer where it literally counted them in the trailer.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
they just had to just put Michael into this meat grinder.
I think at this point, once the whole slasher, like the slasher genre kicked off, it was literally like a dick measuring contest with like who can get the most kills.
And if canonically we're following Michael here, we saw in Halloween 1 kind of his, not his method, because obviously he's insane, but kind of the way he stalks people. And how does this fit into his psychology at all? What the fuck is he doing here?
Yeah, he seems less menacing in this film and just more like
Jason Voorhees, right? He's not calculated at all.
Just like a dude.
Well, I think a big part of that is like how much you actually see of Michael in the film.
Yeah, there's definitely one scene that
he's
fucking
constantly on fucking screen.
was
in this
odd,
thing,
dude.
Man.
I was like, I've never seen him so brightly lit and standing like in the middle of a room doing nothing. It's weird, man.
In the original, you don't see the guy. Like he's literally the shape in the original.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
like
In
a
this,
Jaws
he's
effect.
like he's the
Talking
fucking
about.
statue in this shit.
It's like a Jaws effect or something, you know.
Also, the girl that's talking to Alice on the phone right before she gets sliced and diced is actually the same actress that plays Annie from the original Halloween, Nancy Kyes.
Oh, nice.
Plays who in the original Halloween?
Annie.
That's not Annie.
Yeah, the chick with the... No, not the chick who plays Alice. The girl who's on
Ooh,
the phone
fact-checking.
with Alice.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, so they definitely looked different.
Oh,
We saw
trust
Annie.
me. If they had her on her in that shirt again, bro, I'd remember that.
Man, the other day I was flipping through AMC. It just started the whole Halloween marathon. It was at the scene of her in the shirt with the butter. I was like, God, man. Taking me back to 10 years before I was born.
Shove that stick of butter in my mouth, you know what I mean? Final girl, Laurie Strode, played by Scream Queen and Activia spokeswoman Jamie Lee Curtis, having endured the most traumatic night of her young life, is admitted to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital as Loomis and Sheriff Brackett continue their search. Spotting a figure that resembles that of Michael Myers, Loomis, played by Donald Pleasance once again, takes off in pursuit, only for a police car to barrel into the masked figure, engulfing him in flames, presumably killing Michael dead once and for all.
This shit had me audibly laughing. What was that cop doing?
That fucking cop gets out the car. He says, I didn't even see him. This motherfucker was driving 70 miles an hour down a goddamn neighborhood road.
Like
Hits
in a
dude
fucking
who's in the middle of the
cul-de-sac,
street.
man.
The dude has a bright white mask on with yellow fucking hair. Look like goddamn Michael Myers went Super Saiyan or some shit.
And then he gassed his ass into a van that exploded.
He fucking sped up once he hit him.
There's a lot to go over in this random scene.
This shit was great, man. I was like, I didn't think I was going to be laughing during this fucking movie, but I was.
Why was he dressed like Michael Myers? Is my first question. And then, which I guess the Michael Myers mask was in like in a costume store. So I guess that.
Yeah, he
makes sense
stole
in
it
a
out of
way.
the Halloween or the general store at the beginning of the first one.
Dude just happened to be a mechanic apparently, and also wear the mask as well.
Star Trek was still popular at the time, I guess.
Captain Kirk.
But with how Loomis ran after this dude, and who I guess wasn't Michael Myers, obviously, was just weird. Like he's gone mad.
Well, at this point, we still think this is Michael Myers.
That's just true.
We're made to believe,
We're made
even
to
though
believe.
we all instantly knew it was not.
I mean, at this point, it's pretty obvious this extra crispy motherfucker isn't Mikey, you know? Because that would be a short movie.
The poor kid was like looking over his shoulder, like trying to dodge the car. I was like, this is obviously not a psychopath.
I don't know
This is
why
just
he
a
was
kid.
walking like a goddamn penguin either. Like his arms didn't fucking work when he was trying to walk fast.
Why did the van explode?
Hit the gas
Because
tank.
it's the 80s, baby.
I don't know if it. I mean, I get it hit the gas tank, Joey.
I
But
don't.
good God.
That's the thing. It's hard to make sense out of like cars hitting other cars and just exploding a ball of fire in every movie.
But what was the cop doing in that car? Like, he has no training in driving at all.
He didn't
You know
even
the
see
actual,
him, man.
You know the actual driver of that movie? Who that was?
Robert Englund.
Was it Dick Warlock?
It was Dick fucking Warlock, baby.
Dick.
Fucking awesome. Dick was actually the stunt man who got hit by the car, ran into the fucking exploding van.
So you want me to get hit by the car, hit the van, and then explode? I got
And
it.
you want me
All
to
right.
drive the car? I got it.
I got it. I got it.
Fucking one-man crew.
We could figure this out.
So did you guys notice the kid going into the hospital with the razor in his candy? He had his mouth
Oh,
cut
yeah,
up
yeah.
because he had bitten into a razor blade. I feel like it is because of this specific scene that my mom used to always tell me, you know, they put razor blades in kids' candy. We got to check every piece when you get home.
Well,
I
that's
was like,
always
I'm pretty
been
sure
like
it's because of
old-
this movie.
That's always been like an old wives' tale and shit. I
I think
that
she
was
got it
just
from
like-
this.
Well, I don't think. I think maybe she did, but I think it's just the thing that parents used to tell their kids so they wouldn't eat so much fucking candy.
I would love for somebody to send us a comment or an email or anything possible with a story to where you actually found something like that in your Halloween candy. I don't know a single person.
Apparently, it was a big deal back in the day with like apples. People give out apples and shit for Halloween. They'd shove a fucking razor blade in there.
I do remember hearing a story when I was a kid where people would shove them into McDonald's apple pies, some warm apple pies.
Apple pies.
Apple
Who the
pies.
fuck? Somebody working at McDonald's and shoving
Yeah,
apple
they were
pies?
shoving razor blades
Fuck.
into apple pies. Look it up.
Looking to get a raise, I guess.
If you knew an apple pie, you know what? No. Because apple pie, I don't think give a fuck about.
That
Right
pumpkin
around
and cream
Christmas
pies.
time.
bang.
No. Right around that shit tastes like fucking shit. Looks like diaper shit.
It's good shit.
I ain't
This
eating
is
that
hot
stuff.
take.
There's a holiday pie they come out with every
Oh,
year
yeah.
in
That's
November,
good.
December, and January.
It's that yellow shit in it.
Joey got the lockdown on all the dates for the McDonald's desserts.
All the bootleg snacks.
I'm gonna give you 10 pies, but I'm gonna tell you there's a fucking razor blade in one of them. How many of them pies are you gonna eat before you decide I'm not gonna push my luck anymore?
I mean, if they're
I'll do
hungry.
They're free. They're free.
3 of them.
You gonna eat three out of the 10?
I can't comment on the holiday McDonald's pies myself, but they do sound delicious from your.
Oh,
Their
they're
face
fucking-
lighting up like a
they're
fucking
literally
Christmas
like,
tree.
I think they're described as being sugar cookie filled pies with
Ooh, like a
sprinkles
creamy
on
sugar
top.
cookie. Sounds like a-
God damn,
yeah.
what's today?
Look at the
11th
pictures,
of
Joey.
October. Okay,
Pull them
we
up
got-
on your
we got
computer.
about-
Look at the pictures.
We got about 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks.
You're going to be
for this shit
fapping to
back up.
this.
I think I
No,
would do
fuck,
5.
it's Thanksgiving. Oh my God, they're gonna have pumpkin pies for a long fucking time.
Yes.
Oh God,
Happy holidays, motherfucker.
I like some
fucking
pumpkin.
hate pumpkin pie is gross.
I haven't had the
Ugh.
pumpkin cream pie, but I have heard it's good.
It's pretty all right.
Fucking
Pretty
nasty, dude.
all right.
Another question here. How was Lori all of a sudden so popular? She was like a bookworm field mouse in the first one, but she gets to this damn hospital, and there's like people peeking around corners and shit. That's Laurie Strode.
It is
I
true.
know
because
her.
At this
She went to
point,
school with my sister.
she's just Laurie Strode.
Yeah, and her hair looks a tad rough in this. Like, I don't know if it's like due to shock or just a
it's
bad wig.
It's a wig.
It looks weird, man.
Yeah, apparently in
A long-ass
the early,
night.
in the early '80s, she actually had her hair cut short.
Yeah, I think she's kept it
so-
short pretty much since this time, right?
Oh yeah, she kept it short in the True Lies too, with the epic striptease scene. So
I could not finish that movie.
True Lies.
It's the only James
It's like
Cameron
an
movie
hour
I've
and
never
10
seen.
minutes.
Man. No, it's like 2.5 hours long, dog.
Is it?
It's
I don't
too
know.
long. I'll tell you that.
It went by way too fast for me, man. I love True Lies, and the video game's pretty good too. The only question I had when she arrives at the hospital, besides the weird razor blade kid, was why do they draw her blood?
See what blood type she is.
Yeah, because I got to give her some blood because she's been bleeding, right? She's bleeding out.
Has she been bleeding?
She got stabbed in the arm.
Yeah, she got
right?
stabbed in the fucking chest.
Oh, okay. Moving along. I make one good point this show, and it's taken right away.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Soon after, Brackett, played by, once again, Charles Cyphers, is informed that his daughter Annie was one of the 3 teenagers killed earlier that night, and in shock, leaves Loomis to examine the body of the burned masked figure on his own.
Yeah, we get to see Annie on the stretcher here. Which took me back for a moment.
I know.
But Brackett's reaction here is fucking terrible. This guy is either a garbage fucking actor or his direction was terrible. I don't know what the fuck emotion he was conveying here.
He's going to be in Halloween Kills. Just so you know.
Hey, well, let's hope so, because guess what? This is the last we see him in this fucking movie.
Yeah, I was like, what do we even need him here for?
I think he said something along the lines of, I got to go talk to my wife about this shit before anybody else does. Peace, I'm out. He's actually third billed in this fucking movie. There's also another cool little tidbit right here. This is Dana Carvey's first ever appearance in a film.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Is he the kid in the mask?
No, he plays like a reporter's assistant or a cameraman or some shit in this.
Wow.
Party on, dude.
Great. Party on, Mike.
It was also about the situation where I wrote down 6 shots, bruh. 6 times. He talks about how many times he shot this fucking man.
I shot
constantly.
that motherfucker 6 times. 6
times.
In the heart. Shot him 6 times. In the heart.
He's not human. I shot him 6 times. Damn, Loomis, we know.
The way Loomis just pulls his gun out at any weird time of this film is just like, maybe we should take the gun from him.
He's a madman here, dude. He's definitely not a doctor anymore.
Yeah, Loomis is unhinged at this point. He'll stop at nothing to stop Michael.
And I was just waiting for more cops to come up and be like, how many times did you shoot him? 6 times.
All right. As if right on cue, Michael, very much alive, reemerges from the darkness, overhearing that his last victim, Lori, had survived. And with this news, makes his way to Haddonfield Memorial to continue his Halloween massacre. Lori, recovering in her hospital bed from her ordeal, discusses the horrific events with her paramedic simp, Jimmy, played by Lance Guest, who informs her of the identity of her attacker. Ironically, Lori is the last person in town to find out that Michael is responsible for all this havoc.
How cool everybody seems in this small town. This is supposedly a very small town that has a man on the loose stabbing and killing people. Everybody seems pretty calm.
Yeah, you think there'd be like a bigger police presence in places where human beings are, as opposed to just chasing each other around the fucking street or whatever they're doing?
There's not one cop the entire time.
Yeah, the police don't do a single productive thing in this entire 90 minutes.
There's not even a cop at the hospital.
They have the security guard.
Yeah, they
That's
have
it.
a security guard. Hold on now. He's
They
got
gotta run a cop.
He's got a fucking mag light and a roll of quarters just in case shit goes down.
So I had another issue here with Mike listening to the radio. What the fuck? What is he doing? Like, does he listen to podcasts and shit too? I feel like he needs some AirPods or some shit walking around.
Wake me up
here.
before you go, because
You
I don't
remember-
feel like going solo.
You remember earlier when I talked about John Carpenter had to film something in post?
Did he add this radio shit in here?
To make sense of Michael actually heading towards the hospital? This was it.
This
And
was bad.
Literally, they put a sign in this scene that it said Haddonfield Hospital, and it
And
fucking
an
had
arrow.
an arrow
Yeah.
pointing up the street.
I saw that. I was like,
This
this
is all done
bad.
in post.
This is lazy as hell. That's what I thought. Like, what? I just don't imagine him. I don't know. I guess going off the first movie, he's the type of guy who just kind of does things. He seems numb to people and his surroundings and situations. But now he's just following motherfuckers who he thinks are going to the hospital and shit. And it's just weird. Like, he has so much. He's way too calculated.
Well, we see later why he is so hell-bent on finding Lori.
Sure we do.
We get to that point. Unable to reach Lori's parents due to some service issue, a nurse sends the resident security guard, Mr. Garrett, to check out the phone outage. And this goes exactly as we have come to expect with old Mikey, who does his best Tim the Toolman Taylor impersonation and embeds a claw hammer in the top of Paul Blart's noggin. At the coroner's office, Loomis, as well as Sheriff Deputy Gary Hunt, played by Hunter Von Leer, and Graham, played by Jeffrey Kramer, a local dentist, examine the charred remains of the mystery figure. Unable to fully confirm that this is indeed Michael, Gary, now acting sheriff, errs on the side of caution and issues a sweep of Haddonfield in case the shape still remains.
We learned that he has to be a young man because he has no cavities.
Oh, was that the specifics? I didn't get that.
That's what he said. This body has no cavities. He must be a man 17 years or younger. I was like, damn.
Of
I
course
guess
he
you
don't
have to have
any
a cavity?
Of course he don't have no cavities. He didn't have a chance to eat his fucking candy. He got hit by a goddamn cop.
Yeah, he hadn't even got to
blown
pick out the
up.
razor blades yet.
I did not like how the head looked when Michael throws the hammer into it for the security guard. It I don't know, it just was not cut well, but the camera did not hide the fact that it was a fake rubber head.
Mushy looking.
Because he
There's
hits
there's such a fast cut after it happens.
Yeah, it's like split a millisecond of penetration there.
It's so weird how it's shot, because this right here, isn't this the second kill of the movie?
Yes, it is.
All right, there's a super fast cutaway for this kill. But the kill previous, the one of Alice, it shows the actual death, but it doesn't show the act of the actual knife going into her. Like,
Yeah,
it shows the blood splatter. So it's like the other way, you know?
Yeah, it's not consistent.
Very sloppy, I guess, is how you describe it. It feels shoehorned in. A mob of angry townsfolk forms around the old Myers house as Loomis and the acting sheriff arrive. The place where 15 years ago Michael slew his sister with a butcher's knife remains empty and vacant, a dark relic from the past of an otherwise peaceful town. It's here that a couple of boys inform the duo that their friend Ben Tramer is missing and fits a description of the person who just hours ago was burnt alive. Deputy Hunt and Dr. Loomis once again head out with this new information, checking all possible leads on where Michael may be.
Benjamin Tramer.
Not Ben Tramer!
Yes, this is a callback to the original. This is the boy that Lori admitted to kind of having a crush on.
Oh,
And Annie said that she would, I'll talk to Ben Tramer for you. He said he thinks you're cute.
You know
So yeah,
what?
Ben had a long night, and so did Lori.
Bad night for Ben, right?
Well.
Good night for Jimmy. He about to fucking slide in. Don't mind if I do.
Got the little fro going and everything. What's up, girl? What time? Do we have a sense of what time of the night this is?
I mean, it's got to be like 1 a.m, right?
No, it can't be that late. There's like children and shit walking around.
Yeah, I think the cops here in front of the Myers house even mentioned, like, it's not even 11 yet or something, you know? I'm like, damn, this has been a long fucking 4 hours.
But she was watching the kids at nighttime in the first film.
But it gets dark early in October,
Yeah, I
man.
guess it does get dark at like 6 o'clock.
And no one's even going after this guy who put a razor in the fucking kid's candy.
Bah.
The candy man, that's
How
who
the
really need
fuck
to be
you
going
gonna
after.
find that guy?
Heard you
This
looking for the candy,
this
man.
kid hit 70 fucking houses. With all
If you go to
sorts
the
of
right
candy.
bathroom in Cabrini Green, you'll find the candy man.
Yeah, you go find the motherfucker that was giving out Tootsie Rolls and just bash his brains in. He ain't the motherfucker who even put the razor in there. He's just giving out Tootsie Rolls. He deserves to get fucking massacred.
I lost a tooth to a Tootsie Roll when I was a
Fuck a
kid.
Tootsie Roll, bro. Them things ain't no good except for like throwing in like creeks and shit.
Did y'all have
Damn.
teachers in school? We went to public school, obviously. Poor kids in the public school.
Damn, does that make you poor if you go to fucking
Heathens.
public school? Holy shit.
I'm in the
What's
same
the
public
barrier
school.
for entry to be a
Every
fucking
person I
wealthy
like went to
person?
public school.
Yeah, the fuck?
But it's I'm saying it from the teacher's respect. We got Tootsie Rolls thrown at us. I'm sure at private schools they probably got fucking full-size Mr. Goodbars and shit. But we got Tootsie Rolls thrown at us when we got like an answer correct.
We got red hots and shit. I remember
There
that.
you go. Red Hots, little fireballs.
Cheap shit.
Yeah.
I had his
Maxway
teacher, man.
grab bags.
I was this teacher's pet, bro. Every time I would get some shit right, she would give me a one of them little Hershey's things with the almonds
Give me
in
a
it.
fuck. The kiss?
Damn, dude. I would. I love.
She gave you a kiss, you said.
Yeah, that's another candy bar I really like.
The Hershey's bar?
Hershey with the almonds in it.
Yeah, I like the almonds. I like the
I
nuts.
fuck around with some nuts. You know what I mean?
Shout out to all the public school teachers out there. You got a hard lot of work.
Yeah, nowadays they don't give out that kind of shit. They give you like a little bag of Takis or something. Give you goddamn gallbladder stones.
I would take some Takis.
I saw some Taki flavored something the other day. I was like,
I fucking love my
in the
candy.
hell?
They fuck me up.
It's like a
Trevor,
drink
you
or
should eat
something.
them to clean you out, Joey. You know what I'm saying? Get that Activia that Jimmy Lee Curtis is always talking about.
She might be bleeding to death, but she's pooping pretty regular.
She is cleaned out.
Whew. Look at that colon on that girl.
Back at the hospital, things are starting to get hot and steamy as Jimmy's paramedic partner Bud, played by Lee Rossi, and Nurse Karen get ready to fuck in a therapy tub, jacuzzi. What is this? Is this the hospital from Kill Bill?
I had the same note.
What the hell is this used for? I think it's like a cremation tank. It's fucking hot in there.
I think this is what they boil soup in or some shit.
I can't stand the fact that this man wears his watch backwards. You notice this
I
shit?
didn't even pick up on it. You got a real
He had the
issue
face
there,
of the
Chris.
watch on the inside of the wrist.
Yeah, it's like a proper like dead way to wear a watch.
What kind of fucking animal?
Well,
wears
no, I
a
think
watch?
that right there is actually him doing his research as an actor. I feel like paramedics, they carry bodies and shit a lot. They carry a lot of stuff. So having the dial on your wrist, you're able just to look down. You know what I mean?
Well, if he's truly in character, then hit me with this song that this lovely paramedic chooses to sing in the break room.
Amazing grace, come sit on my face. Please don't cry, 'cause I need your pie.
This motherfucker just ruined it. So
You're welcome. That was a country version of that song.
that was the first. Damn words ain't even fucking right.
Hey, what's the correct words? I wrote
Chris,
it
give it to
down.
him. Go, Chris.
I don't have them written down, man. Let me hear it.
Amazing grace, come sit on my face. Don't make me cry, I need your pie.
I wasn't that far off.
Nice.
That was pretty close.
Yeah, this shit cracked me up. This was my second big laugh of the movie. The first one that was probably intentional.
Yeah, that guy's great, man. He's so fucking good.
You can call the crash for the kid.
It was intentionally funny.
Jesus.
Do
This
EMS
dude-
drivers have this much fucking free time to be
I
like taking
guess
baths and shit?
They're waiting on emergencies and shit.
Yeah, they got. I mean, it seems to be like they should be busy, considering how many people are fucking dead in this town.
It seemed like a hell of a
Hey,
night. There would be a lot of
what
people
the-
getting rushed in here.
They're fucking dead. What can you do for them?
They couldn't give that kid a ride,
What's
man,
it?
with the mouth.
Hey, we got a dead guy on 12th. Well, he's
I
dead.
think a big part of that is the fact that Haddonfield is considered, it's supposed to be like a small town, so there's probably a lot of downtime for you, like
Yeah,
paramedics
which
and
is
stuff.
why everybody seems weirdly okay.
You got time to lean, you got time to
Still.
clean.
It's also why this hospital seems eerily fucking empty.
In this scene as well, before they hop in this weird hot tub in the basement of this hospital, she leaves a room full of newborn babies to go strip down in a hot tub in the basement of this hospital.
What's she gonna do? Breastfeed all of them?
I'm just saying, the woman's got one job, and it's to watch babies sleep, and she can't even do that.
And her boss is like, the 15 minutes you were late could have been the difference between life and death for one of these kids.
Yep.
And then she proceeds to go downstairs and try to fuck Bud.
So whatever this hot tub thing is, who really gives a shit at the end of the day? Titties. But Michael,
Biggins.
being the perpetual cockblock that he is, cranks up the heat, prompting Bud to check out the tub's thermostat. But not before giving us a back shot of his droopy ass balls.
We see a lot of men's buttholes in these movies
lot,
lately.
man.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Where was the demand for man buttholes, and where did it go? We don't see these as much anymore.
Shit, we see it all the time in porn.
That's
Well,
true.
I would,
That
yeah, I would
ass shot,
assume you
dude, that
would.
back
I would
shot,
assume that you would.
With the really bright light on it. Like, okay, I can see the reflection in it.
It's like the camera's focused on his asshole, and everything else is like blurred out. It's like the depth of
I think
field
you're
is
watching
just,
the wrong kind of pornography, bro.
You were down a really weird rabbit hole there, bud. Did you see how hot this temperature gauge read at like redlining?
This, just like the arrow that said hospital this way, was like comically like, this is really hot. He just kept turning it. I was like, okay, is this like a fucking parody movie we got going on here? Too
like
hot to handle.
It's like a fucking Looney Tunes commercial, and the goddamn it's like steam and shit coming out the top of it as the fucking as the needle goes up. So Mikey, sick to his stomach of having just seen this man's junk, does us a favor and strangles the guy to death with a towel, then turning his attention to Nurse Karen. I think here we probably have a nominee for best kill of the film. Michael drowns her ass while simultaneously scalding her with the boiling water from the tub. Fucking brutal. Also, titties.
Big titties.
Biggins. This did not make sense to me for how Michael, once again, this just seems random. Why is he killing her in the hot tub? I don't know. It just felt out of place for me.
Yeah, and the fact he didn't burn his hand at all, but her fucking face is like peeling off,
Melting.
was kind of confusing. And it didn't touch any of that perfect chest either with this boiling hot water.
This is definitely a symptom of chasing Jason Voorhees.
This actress was in the documentary that I watched, and she commented on the scene specifically because obviously it's one of the best scenes in the film.
This is her scene for sure.
I mean, yeah. But she said that the water in the hot tub was actually freezing cold. It was not even lukewarm.
Yeah, apparently she got an ear infection from this scene too, because the water was like super gross.
I thought you would have got it from sucking on Mike's fingers for about 10
I got
seconds.
a note right here too.
That was disturbing.
Damn, you see the way she was sucking on Michael's fingers in this scene, thinking it was bud. You ought to have kept that one around, Mike.
Yeah, he savored it for a second. I thought it was about to have like a scene,
he liked that
know?
shit. Yeah, he liked it. She said, "I gotta go," and then all of a sudden he jerked his hand away and said, "This bitch gotta die."
Another example of what is he doing?
Yeah, he's like pretending to be the boyfriend. I don't know. Which I guess in the first he did put on the ghost costume and pretend to be Bob. And the lighting here, this is what I was talking about earlier. He is so well lit in this scene, and he gets so much camera time of his full body. It's just, it doesn't look like it belongs in a Halloween movie to me.
It's kind of fucked, man. Because apparently Rosenthal, the way he shot this movie, it was actually kind of paced similar to how Halloween 1 was paced. But this is another scene that was shot by John Carpenter to get that body count up, to get that gore factor up. And it definitely just, like you said, it's out of place.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit.
It definitely feels, with that information, it feels like a cashing a check scene.
It feels like somebody literally saw this shit done by Jason Voorhees and stuck it in this fucking movie. Investigating a report of a break-in at the local elementary school, Loomis and Deputy Hunt discover a child's drawing of a family with a knife stuck through the paper and into a female figure's chest. On the chalkboard, written in blood, is the word Samhain, as Loomis puts it. Obviously pronounced Samhain. Which is obviously.
It's Irish, I believe, right?
Irish, Gaelic.
Celtic, yeah. I got you.
Summer's End is what it means, a festival to usher in the dark half of the year and welcome in the harvest. But Loomis comes up with some crazy ass shit. The Lord of the Dead is what he
Satanic
claims.
Panic, baby.
It means Lord of the Dead.
This obviously means some evil shit.
Before any sense can be made of the word or the drawing, Dr. Loomis's colleague Marion, played by Nancy Stevens, reprising her role. She herself, a witness to the shape's escape from Smith Grove, pulls the psychiatrist to the side with orders from the governor to leave Haddonfield. With no option but to follow the command, Dr. Loomis reluctantly heads out, escorted by his co-worker and a marshal.
This is a U.S. Marshal. Is this Raylan Givens, Chris?
Timothy Oliphant would have made this He's probably like 5 here, but it would have been incredible to see him here.
Loomis, we got to get you out of this town, bud.
Meanwhile, Lori dreams of the past, her mother admitting to her that she's not her real mother, as well as visions of a visit she paid to a young boy. Not foreshadowing or anything at all, just some weird dreams that'll definitely not come into play later. Maybe.
This had to be something Carpenter did afterwards, right? Because it felt really out of place.
I know. I think the only thing Carpenter had a hand in was adding like the gore and shit. But apparently this is enough to send Lori into a state of catatonic shock. Jimmy, unaware of this, continues to white knight professing his undying loyalty and service to someone he met like a couple hours ago. He soon realizes Lori is unresponsive and alerts a nurse, who scrambles to locate Dr. Mixter. Before long, Nurse Janet finds what she's looking for, the good doctor in his office with a syringe stuck through his eye. Not wanting her to feel left out, Michael emerges from the shadows and gives her a needle of her own, right through the temple, followed by a classic Michael Myers head tilt.
I guess Mike's just, trying to figure out new weapons, new ways to kill people, just, experimenting.
So we're believing here that he wrote Sam Hain on that wall in the elementary school.
Yeah,
right?
Dookie or some shit.
And he stabbed a picture. Did he draw this picture?
I think.
Looked like a child drew the picture.
I
Well,
agree, son.
I mean,
but
Michael's
just tell me what the fuck is
at this
going on
point?
here.
He's only 21, right?
He's only 21, Chris.
He's never really experienced anything outside the world to give him any sort of artistic vision or artistic
He hasn't watched
ability.
anime yet. I mean, he's got a long ways to fucking go.
He's literally like just staring at walls, not even like talking, not even like speaking to anybody, not even like engaging anybody.
He listens to fucking radio, though.
Ask Cuba Gooding Jr. about the radio.
Oh, shit.
So why was he drawing
I
pictures
died.
to begin with?
I don't know. This is one of those things I'm like, I get what you're doing here, but tell me how this happened or why this happened.
I just got an image of him sitting in like a little child's desk,
Yeah.
drawing color and
Exactly. Unless he just picked up a random kid's homework and stabbed it.
He's holding the crayon like a fucking knife and just like writing shit. Jimmy, upset that his paramour isn't able to hear his love poem, scrambles to find someone to help on his own, looking for sassy Nurse Alves, played by Gloria Gifford, leaving his beloved in the care of Nurse Jill, played by Tony Moyer. Hearing a strange noise in the hallway, the nurse leaves Lori all alone to investigate. Michael cleverly uses this distraction he created to his advantage and heads to Lori's room, scalpel in hand, to claim his unfinished kill. However, we find that Lori is crafty herself, as she realized Michael would come for her. Pretending to be in a state of unresponsiveness, she's able to escape her room and flee before the monster is able to find her, passing out in a random room. Jill returns from her search to find her patient missing. She and Jimmy decide to continue the search for his paramour, as well as the rest of the staff. Before long, Jim finds Nurse Alves strapped to an operating table, an IV crudely inserted in her arm, draining her drop by tiny drop to her death. Being the goober that this dude is, he turns to run and alert Jill, but slips on the massive pool of blood, knocking himself out cold.
This dude's fucking useless.
Yeah, this guy's terrible.
This was some weird slapstick Evil Dead type stuff. Kind of shoehorned in here. A lot of stuff shoehorned into this film.
Yeah, like Michael's doing like a Dr. Giggles or some shit here. I don't know why you would go through all this to set up someone in this way
Good.
when you're just known for stabby stab, as some people say. It's just, it's that simple for him usually. I don't know what the hell he's got going on here.
He had to grab this lady, strap her to a hospital bed, hook an IV in correctly, and then drain her blood.
That had to take a while for it to drip all the way through that.
It was
We're going to sit here and we're going to wait 10 minutes.
It was in between coloring, of course.
I will say, I got to give it some credit here. The sequence when she is running from Michael in the hallways, when she's sneaking away, I thought was effective. I thought that was the best scene in the movie. Because it just felt so much like the original, Because it's just him stalking around. her stalking away and then hiding off in that room. It was like the only real moments of dread that I actually felt watching it for Jamie or for Laurie.
Yeah, it did feel like it was an actual Halloween movie.
For like 3 minutes
scenes.
right there, they had it. They called it for a second.
And just like that, they took it away.
A big part of that is like the score during that scene.
Exactly. You used the score. There wasn't a ton of dialogue, and it was the two people I'm invested in this like slow pursuit, which is what the whole first movie was. That's what this whole movie should have been, in my opinion. Laurie was sidelined way too much.
And perhaps the smartest decision of the movie so far, Jill, unable to find anyone, jumps in her car to get the fuck out of there. But surprise, surprise, it doesn't start. The gas tank has been punctured and the tires flattened by someone. Someone that probably wears overalls and is nonverbal. As a matter of fact, all the cars in the parking lot are in similar condition. To balance the scales, she now makes a dumb decision. She heads back into the hospital, even after seeing all her co-workers' cars are still there. She finds Laurie, now awake, stumbling through the halls, relieved to see a familiar face. Laurie turns to face Jill just as the shape turns the corner behind the nurse. In a display of his unnatural strength, the fiend rams a scalpel into the blonde's back, lifting her a couple feet off the ground. Laurie, still doped up and hobbled, tries to make her escape once again with Michael close behind. After a trip down a couple flights of stairs through the boiler room with the security guard's body hanging by a shop light in there, and a ride up an elevator, Miss Strode is able to narrowly escape and find refuge tucked into the floorboard of a car outside.
So again here, with the flat tires, empty gas tanks, Mike is just super aware of everything going to this situation.
He's really leaning into like the whole mechanic aspect of his his costume.
That was get up.
The overalls are getting
it's
like
fucking
into his
overalls.
bones now.
He's learning.
He's really doing a lot of activities in this short window that we're seeing this film.
Exactly. I want to follow him around doing all these like menial tasks that apparently he's been doing, like pretending to be a fucking doctor,
Well, hey,
and
the
going
way
around
the
stabbing
fucking-
like 30 different gas tanks.
On the way out of town, Marion drops a bombshell. Laurie Strode isn't a Strode. She's a Myers. She's the younger sister of the serial killer himself. Loomis comes to the conclusion that Michael came home to kill his last living sibling, and with revolver in hand, compels the marshal at gunpoint to take them to Laurie's last known location, Haddonfield Memorial.
So this man pulls a gun and fires it at an officer of the law.
U.S.
And this
Marshal.
man obeys him.
What the fuck does he say? He says some funny shit. What do you fucking law dogs say? Fire a winning shot? He blows the goddamn hole in the fucking window.
You would be put so far into the ground in 2022 if this should happen. It's ridiculous.
Oh, this fucking marshal was the most laissez-faire marshal that ever existed. He's literally like, I'm just doing my fucking job, bro.
I'm just here so I don't get fired.
He's definitely one that gets the shit work at the U.S. Marshal Office for sure.
Hey, it's a job. He said, at least I'm getting paid, bro. Fuck it.
So apparently Carpenter doesn't really love the Laurie Strode connection to Michael Myers.
He wrote this fucking thing.
I understand. You still regret what you make.
So I guess the question that he was asking himself right in this must have been, why would he continue pursuing her for the rest of this night? And that's the best he came up with.
Carpenter finds it to be cheap.
Oh, I definitely agree. It's lazy as fuck. And if it's true to this character, if I'm supposed to buy this in this 90 minutes of movie, then why was he killing random ass people on the way there?
Yeah.
If he had a goal, then why go through all this other shit?
So does every other Halloween film, so I haven't watched all 12 of them, talk about this? Does this domino effect?
The basis for the rest of the actual like sequels.
But the new ones,
Yeah, like the remakes and shit like that.
Danny
advice.
McBride does not regard Halloween 2's existence. It takes up from Halloween 1 to the new trilogy.
Okay.
So they are not related in the trilogy that's wrapping up now.
Interesting. Okay.
She's just a lone survivor of his insanity that night.
But like Halloween 4, 5, and 6,
Oh yeah, it's all family tie shit.
it's all family shit.
Family ties.
It gets super fucking weird, man.
Step by step.
Like his
Day
whole
by day.
like backstory is like, well, I guess like the reason they actually come up with the reason why Michael's the one that has to like do all this shit. It's fucking insane.
It's soap opera. They make it up as they go.
Eventually, Paul Rudd goes.
Don't
goes
you
fucking-
besmirch Paul Rudd here.
Goes fucking he's fisticuffs with Michael at a certain point. So we'll get there. He fucking
Ant-Man
fights.
took his ass out.
That's where we end up a little while down the road.
You want some, Michael?
Suddenly, a figure approaches the car Lori is tucked into. Plopping down into the front seat is that old goober Jimmy, obviously concussed and useless. Failing to start the engine, Jimmy passes out from his injury and Lori exits the vehicle, scratching and clawing her way across the parking lot, too weak to stand. Just then, Loomis and his 2 hostages arrive and enter the hospital, totally unaware that the person they seek is less than 50 feet behind them. Miss Myers is able to muster up enough strength to make her way to the hospital lobby, just as Big Brother re-emerges once more and stalks her into the building. Inside, Loomis wounds the Shape with 5 more shots, 11 times,
11 times.
putting him down for the 2nd time that night.
But that ain't enough.
Marion heads outside to radio Deputy Hunt and the marshal. Even after Loomis warns of Michael's tendency to play dead, decides to get a closer look at the man behind the mask. Bad idea. Michael springs to life, slicing the throat of the lawman before resuming his hunt.
God, his ears.
Lori and Loomis take off, locking themselves in a surgery room.
He really does like to play possum. Loves it.
Loves it.
Doo-doo.
He
Doo-doo.
lives for that look on people's faces when they, surprise, motherfucker!
We did have the intro to this movie where they kind of recounted the end of the first one, which is kind of something we'd pointed out that these 80s horror movies tended to do. Where it's like, and it had the whole him laying down, doing the Undertaker thing coming up.
Doing the Kane thing, Chris. Don't mix
Oh,
up
God, get
the brothers.
God, son of a bitch.
These
Anyhow,
brothers of destruction.
So yeah, we've seen him pull this shit before. But yeah, Loomis has to point it out for it to happen yet again.
Can we talk about the goofy ass scene when Michael Myers walks through the fucking door?
Yeah, it did not play as cool as it did in the trailer. I'll tell you that.
It looked like it was shot weird. Like when he goes through it, it almost like there was an
It's like
edit
a
in
cut.
there.
It was cut to like a close up as he's stepping through. It looks
Okay.
wonky as shit.
Yeah, it was bad. It was comically bad. I think the 3rd time I laughed in this film was that shot of him just not wanting to use the door handle, you know?
Fuck this door handle.
I guess he wanted to use it when he first got there. But then now he's like, fuck it, you know.
Jamie kind of crawling and trying to scream out for help reminded me of Scream. Got big Scream vibes from that with Casey Becker at the intro sequence with her parents.
But then she could scream. But the difference there is that she couldn't scream at all.
Yeah, she had her throat all crushed in.
But then
Jamie here was
Jamie eventually does scream.
still a little high, I guess. I don't know why she
I
didn't
think it's part of it. She's like still kind of sedated, and I think it actually goes back to the dream sequence. Like, you know how when you're dreaming and shit, and like you want to yell, like while you're dreaming and you can't yell. It's like something has stolen your voice, or something is like keeping you from screaming. I think it's kind of like what it's alluding to, even though it's fucking weak. Lori, now armed with the marshal's confiscated firearm, cowers in a corner of the room, and Loomis waits by the door. Michael, being Michael, makes short work of the door, bursting through and stabbing his former doctor in the chest with a scalpel. The fucking face Loomis makes right here when he goes to fucking blow Michael's brains out and the gun just clicks and Michael just whips his head around and looks right at him is like, it's fucking classic. You talking about funny moments, that shit is fucking Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd type shit. Michael turns his attention to his sister and approaches Lori, who somehow two-taps Michael in the fucking eyes. Blinded, the hulking figure swings wildly while a wounded Loomis and Lori crank open oxygen tanks to distract the brute. Lori makes a run for it, and in a noble act of sacrifice, Loomis fires up his lighter, blowing the room to smithereens. Lori watches in horror as a figure emerges from the devastation, engulfed in flames and holding a scalpel. The monster, the myth, the animal, the shape collapses to the floor. Justice for Ben Tramer!
This, all I can say is this is the 80s. This explosion is just like, we got to go big. We got to go bold. We got to blow the fucking room up.
I really wish Loomis would have said, trick or treat, motherfucker, right before he lit the lighter. That would have been badass.
So we're supposed to believe that Lori is able to shoot him in the eyes, both eyes specifically. Just that dead eye, huh?
She's got killer blood, man.
I don't even think she cocks back the fucking hammer on this goddamn 357, bro.
She don't need to.
She just pulls that fucking trigger. Bang, bang.
Two shots.
Ski, bang, bang, ski, ski, motherfucker.
This was a 6-shooter, right?
I mean, who fucking knows?
Six shots.
It's a
am I
revolver.
right?
We assume it's
Dr. Loomis reloaded that thing. You knew it. He had that quick load.
Smash
A
that
doctor
bitch
had
up.
a quick load.
But yeah, the whole swinging in the dark and not stepping forward and progressing towards your targets. I get what they were setting up, but him just swinging around in the dark like a damn orangutan, it got a little annoying.
The sound effect didn't help either.
He looked like Declan over there trying to hit a pinata, bro.
Exactly. I'm like, he looks like a child. He would literally walk over to Loomis and then stop walking and keep swinging. I was like, okay. You know the actor's right there in front of you.
Well, it's Lori. Like, he would turn on like the spigot or whatever, and he would go that way, and then Lori would be on the other side of the room doing the same shit. He didn't know where to go.
I don't buy it, man. This guy listens to NPR. He's keen on his ears.
The Michael death scene where he walks out of the fire and then eventually falls over dead was very cool.
The police arrive, and Lori ends her night at the hospital the same way it began, in the back of an ambulance. So ends 1981's Halloween 2.
In the
Mr.
back
Sandman.
of yet another ambulance.
Da-da-da-da. Make it the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him 2 lips like roses of clover.
Tell him that his lonesome nights are over.
Hey!
I fucked it, this song.
That's good. Glad I got the imagery in my head now. And so does our audience.
So that wraps her up, boyos. You ready for the real question here is, are you ready for Halloween 3? Shit's about to take a lift.
I want to buy a mask.
I'm kind of excited to see it. I've never seen it.
We should all three go in on one of the masks and
Truth
record
be
him.
told, I'm not a big fan of the Halloween series.
I'm not either. We're in the same boat, bud.
Onward through the fog.
But
baby.
we're in the same boat on that. I fucking love Jason. Friday the 13th is my shit.
Can you buy the masks for Halloween 3? Are they commercially available?
there's
For
Oh,
no-
yeah,
there's no
they're
doubt.
available. You can probably
There's
get
no
them
doubt
super
about
cheap, too. But you're going to get, like, shit tier quality.
I did see McDonald's is re-releasing the plastic Halloween pails. You remember those?
Yeah, I saw that
Oh,
too.
they glow in the
Ghost.
dark, bro. They get the glow in
There's
the
the
dark.
ghost,
The
the like Frankenstein. What was the other one? A witch or something?
A
Jack-o'-lantern.
pumpkin head, right? Or a pumpkin.
Might be a
pumpkin
pumpkin,
head,
yeah.
sorry.
They're coming
There was a
back,
pumpkin
man.
head themed
Yeah, jack-o'-lantern, you
McDonald's.
fucking weirdos.
They coming back, baby. Which piece of memorabilia you guys want to take home from the lovely Halloween 2 from 1981?
This was not easy, fellas. There is not shit in this film. In my opinion. I don't know. Maybe y'all have something better than I have. But with the fall weather settling in here in the southeast, give me Brackett's police jacket. Big old puffy green goodness. That's what I'm taking.
See, you motherfuckers are behind the game. I knew what was going to happen in this second movie. That's why in that first movie, I said, give me the headstone. In that episode we reviewed the original, I decided against taking Michael Myers' mask, but this time I'm going to get it while the getting is good because these masks are going to look like shit for the next 30 years. Give me the Shatner, baby.
You did fucked up. I said specifically not that busted-ass mask.
Nah.
Because I took the original.
It's a good
Old
mask.
busted.
Now you're going to be stuck with a fucking hypodermic needle or some bullshit.
Let me get Dr. Loomis's outfit. That swag-ass long coat over the peak
this is a
70s
trench coat.
brown
Like
suit.
a
man.
Columbo look?
Yeah, the brown suit. It's 70s as fuck, man. I like that.
11 times? I shot him in the heart. Lloyd shot him in the fucking eyes. 11 times?
Should have invested in a flamethrower, obviously.
He's an animal. Sam Hain, the animal.
And we never wrapped back around to Sam Hain. We just threw that shit out there, just a little satanic panic, and never covered it again.
Apparently, the novelization of the first movie delved into Michael's backstory and the whole Sam Hain shit a little
There's a
more
novelization
in
to the
depth
first one?
before the actual second movie came out. I think it adopted that from the first movie and
I
tried
might
to
have
make
to
it
read
a
this
tie.
book. This is a real book.
It's apparently like a bestseller. Apparently, it was really fucking good.
I might check that out.
What's it called? Just like Halloween
Yeah,
something?
it's like I think it's called just Halloween, the novelization of the motion picture.
Halloween the book.
Halloween, the book between the first and the second movie. Terrible title. More
Sam
of the night
Hain.
before he went home
They
and
call
then
me
he came
Sam
back.
Hain.
All right, boys, let's wrap this baby up. What's your letter grades for Halloween 2?
1981's Halloween 2 did not deliver nearly as much as the first installment, as probably we all going to repeat. In its defense, sequels almost never come close to being even remotely as good as the first film. John Carpenter clearly wrote this film for a paycheck, and it lacks the love he demonstrated with the first Halloween installment. The concept of the film taking place directly after the first film was unique, and I really liked that approach for it. And because of that, it does give it a little bit of a better letter grade bump for me, and that's going to be a C+ for Halloween 2.
Can a horror sequel to an A+ retain any of the value attached to the OG? This movie definitely does not. The years that passed between this and the original felt tangible to me. The camera and even some of the actors feel as if they're doing a failed send-up to the first movie. It just comes across as a movie that was afraid to do anything new, already beholding to its predecessor. This lack of anything new, minus the soap opera family ties throw in, is lazy and not exciting to watch. R.I.P. to what might have been. I'm going with the C-.
Let's be real here. Halloween did not need a sequel. Just the fact that this movie exists feels like it somehow taints how John Carpenter ended the original and cheapens what that film achieved. Michael Myers doesn't have to be Jason Voorhees to be scary. The fact that he's human, that he is only a man, and yet he does these things, these vile and heinous murders purely because he's evil, that's what makes him memorable. That's what makes him terrifying. With that said, as a movie, Halloween 2 is mediocre. Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis is fantastic, albeit pretty one-note as the exact same character he portrayed previously. I'm sure Jamie Lee Curtis would have also been great had she actually been in the movie for more than 25 minutes. Once again, John Carpenter helms the score, and it's a banger. There's not much else to really say about that other than it's fucking awesome. I appreciate the added gore and kills personally, but I feel like part of what made the previous film so successful is its focus on building the characters, not just adding generic victims to up the body count. Aside from Bud, I mean that dude's my hero.
Sit on my face.
The imagery and cinematography, like the score, is more of the same, iconic, and one of the highlights of the movie. The pacing, on the other hand, is sped up in contrast to the original's deliberate slow progression that was perfect for building suspense. Halloween 2 plays much more like a run-of-the-mill slasher, whereas Halloween 1 feels like something special, something unique, something worth remembering. I know this movie is a sequel and all that, but it's delivered as a continuation of the first. With that being the case, I do feel like it's fair to compare it to its predecessor as much as we are. In summation, bland, middle of the road, unremarkable. Halloween 2 gets a C.
All right, let's go over the audience scores. We guessed this was for no prize, as this was a assigned piece of homework. We'll go in descending order. I went with a 78. Cap it on the year the original came out. Joy said 70. Hootie said a 67. The actual audience score for this was a 63.
Ooh.
Hootie could have got to tickle the biscuit.
I feel like we remember this movie being way better than what it was.
I had forgotten quite a bit of it, other than him and Lori in the hospital, which on the revisit was the best parts for me. But to circle back around 2 weeks ago, or 2 episodes ago, Mr. Joseph nailed his guess.
Absolutely nailed.
We going back
He took the guess, he shoved its face in the water, and then took it out, and then put it back.
We go
So,
back to back.
The floor shall be yours, brother.
All right, I'm going cutting right to the chase with us. I'm no fucking sugarcoating this shit.
Don't you sugarcoat it.
Second feature-length film from one of the most polarizing modern masters of horror. Someone that comes Quentin Tarantino approved. That's right. We're talking about Eli Roth and 2005's Hostel.
I saw this film in the theaters with my mother.
Oh, what the fuck?
The hell, what you and your mom doing in 05?
What the
Y'all
fuck
saw
is
everything.
that
Don't know.
Why?
I think it was one of the last movies
thought
those were the last films I saw in theaters with my mom. It was
I thought
fucking awkward.
me seeing this movie in the theater was a fucking story. Apparently, your story is way better.
I remember I got some memories attached to this, but it's definitely not something I went to a theater to see because it's not my genre or not my flavor of
Where
horror.
was your mom's at, Chris?
It's mine, baby.
All right, folks, we're going to hop on YouTube, watch the official trailer for Hostel from 2005. Let's go. It's going to be awful. Rated R, you say?
Good old screen gems.
Oh, they did all the Saw shit too, right?
And
Was that
Resident Evil.
Lionsgate?
Oh, yeah. He's naked. Sickest fantasies.
Is this a sexual movie?
It's all about getting it in, Chris.
Oh, what the fuck? There's a toe. Who do you want to suck on that toe? I don't think I've seen this movie.
You serious?
I'm pretty sure I haven't.
Didn't realize Tarantino presented it.
You've never seen Hostel?
I don't think I have.
You said that like you're such an old country dude. I don't think I've seen that.
Like it didn't even show the good shit. Oh, that was a good trailer.
Yeah, the good shit he means by other body parts getting chopped off would be the good shit.
I don't recall any of that damn thing, man. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Not looking forward to
Finally, we're going to have a fucking movie where we're actually going to have a discussion about why I like it so much and you motherfuckers don't like it.
All right, boys, let's play the game. What do you think an audience would give Hostel from 2005 via the Rotten Tomatoes percentage scores? So, yeah, the presenter is not eligible for the guess.
Well, you think I'd
In order.
fucking cheat and make y'all
There's
watch
no doubt.
Hostel 2 right
If
after
anybody's cheating here, it's this bastard. So, I'll take the lead here. I'm gonna say this audience score is a 40%.
52.
Alrighty, folks, thank you for listening. Check out the website, horriblefilmschool.com, to find us on all podcast platforms, as well as links to all the social outlets. Give us a follow, leave a review, send us some long-lost relatives. If you happen to peek on there, you may notice a link to a YouTube page. We will be presenting some content there pretty soon. Much shorter format reviews of new stuff. So subscribe there. Keep your eyes open. We'll not necessarily see it on the schedule, but we will be popping up there as well. I'm going to offer my support to women stumbling around with a cracked ankle. I can certainly empathize, and I wish you a speedy recovery.
As always, if you're hearing our voices, tell at least one person you know. Spread the love. Spread the campaign. Check us out, as Chris alluded to, on all of our social media platforms. I'm pretty active on our Instagram page. Come over, talk to us, give us a shout. Let's hang out. And I'm out.
Thanks for the likes, follows, listens, shares. We appreciate your time and your attention. If you have a few moments available, be sure to check us out on all our platforms and the merch store and the YouTube channel. Our content on there I would describe as bite-sized, whereas these reviews are like king-sized, in terms of like candy.
Just in time for the Halloween season.
Just in time. So join us for our next episode where we mutilate and torture 2005's Hostel. We'll see you in the next one. Happy Halloween and class dismissed.